Welcome to my show, Curryup Startup Podcast, a podcast to spotlight Asian entrepreneurs and interesting people that I meet in my life. This is Priyanka Komala, a man who wears multiple hats: entrepreneur, angel investor, business mentor, who believes in a satisfied customer is the best strategy of all. Tel Ganesan, welcome to Curryup Startup Podcast.
Glad to be with you, Priyanka. It's my pleasure.
Tel, thank you so much for being on our show. Our show is about bringing spotlight to Asian entrepreneurs, but you are a man who needs no introduction. I know you're being humble, but to our listeners out there, Tel has been doing a lot of amazing work. He's based out of Michigan. He's spread his wings in every different direction that you can imagine. And I always admire people who bring a lot of enthusiasm and wisdom to our society, and Tel is one among the best. So Tel, you're a very accomplished entrepreneur and you have multiple dimensions to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a look back at who Tel is, how would you see yourself?
When I look back, I see as a person who came to America to pursue the American dream. I mean, that's all I had back in the days. And I think I'm still in the process of fulfilling that dream, but I think I have done some things along the way.
That's pretty impressive. So tell us about your upbringing. You were born in India. What
Yes.
are some finest memories that you have about your childhood?
I mean, childhood, obviously, with the parents and with the social fabric of India, as you know, you have a lot of happiness. Even if you don't have a whole lot of things, you tend to be more happy in India. So I think all that helped set the positive attitude in my life very early on. I think I owe that to the upbringing coming out of India.
Is there a particular value that you uphold till today that was instilled in your childhood?
Yeah, like being content, being happy with what you have, and being positive. Pursue bigger goals. Dream big. I think those were some of the things that were very instilled very early on, and I think when I look back, the root of it, I think it came right from there, and I still uphold them, and I think I'll uphold them until the last day of my life, and so it's so much ingrained in me.
It's really impressive, Tel, that you have built your own empire since your days of landing in America, but you still feel the fact that you need to go ahead and achieve more. There are still milestones to cross. Is that how you look at your day-to-day life?
Yes. I see it's a journey. I see Priyanka is a long journey. In the long journey, we'll have multiple, milestones. Or if you were to ride a train, it's like stopping at different stations. Doesn't mean the journey has ended. The journey keeps going until you are there on this planet Earth. That's how I see it.
You're a man with impeccable confidence, Tel. How do you manage that? How do you derive your inspiration and portray yourself as a confident man who knows what he's doing?
Yeah, I think every day I count my blessings, Priyanka. Every day I wake up, I said, I could be under the earth, but I'm glad I'm above the earth. So every day is a blessing when you start with that mindset, confidence come, right? Because we'll be gone. Because life is so short, and we only have limited time. So my goal is to how do I remain confident and remain positive in the time that we have. Because many people believe that we have unlimited time, but I believe we don't have unlimited time. So I have to do the best I can, given the shorter window we have. I mean, look at the time we met. I mean, how many years have flown by? So
I know.
yeah. I mean, so here we are. That's my point, and that's how I derive that. It's not like any wisdoms or anything. It's just practical pointers of life.
That's very true. I know it's been a couple of years since we met and things have changed and we've pursued different directions and have done well for ourselves. So I feel count the blessings is something that each one of us need to rethink.
Yes.
That's awesome. So tell us about Kyyba Innovations. I know Kyyba has branched into several aspects. Tell us how it all started.
Yeah. So my journey and my entrepreneurial journey is very simple, right? I don't want to keep doing the same thing. So I easily get bored doing the same repetition, every couple of years or every decade in this case. So the first company I started was almost 10 years. than me being in Michigan with the landscape changing, with the startup ecosystem, with the mobility, artificial intelligence, and all of them. I felt that I should, contribute to building the broader entrepreneurial ecosystem in Michigan. My way of giving back is really why I started the Kyyba Innovations. So that's why we have Pitch Club, where we go around the whole state and try to connect various ecosystems around the state of Michigan, in a sense, to promote entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is really promoting wealth creation. And then, you create a virtuous cycle. So I am doing whatever I can in my capacity to do that. And we also do some tech challenges, like the fintech challenges. So my goal for Kyyba Innovation is to really help build the innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem in Michigan. So that way I can also move up the value chain compared to what I was doing previously.
You've definitely shifted the needle in terms of the ecosystem in Michigan for entrepreneurs, and you've definitely carved a niche for yourself, Tel. So thank you for that amazing work. Apart from the serious stuff of business, you also do a lot of fun adventures like Kyyba Films, Kyyba Kidz Foundation. Tell us, how did you derive inspiration to branch into those fields?
Well, I mean, like I said, we have all one life, right? So in the one life, I want to do the maximum possible. For me, every day is the blessing. So I kind of see it as um, it's really fun to do the impossible, right? So I believe doing the impossible possibles, and that's why I go into areas where I have no knowledge. Sometimes I use my ignorance as my strength, and so that way I see things that others don't see, and then in the process I learn, and then I try to make a dent in that marketplace. So, like for example, films. I jokingly say I don't even know how to turn on the TV properly with with all the remotes these days, with so many remotes going on. But here I'm producing the movie. I mean, in less than a couple of years, I'm on the fourth movie already, and so that kind of gives me sort of inspiration to myself to pursue uncharted waters and territories, if you will. That's why I go and do these things that typical person would be hesitant to do that because of inherent risk involved in taking on these kind of ventures. To me, I derive a lot of strength doing that, going after the unknown.
That's very true, Tel. Getting out of your comfort zone is really a challenge for most of us. And I really love one of your quotes, which is skill is 40%, will is 60%. And without will, there's no use for skill.
Yes.
And I think you will live by this.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I also get a kick out of doing those kind of things, right, Priyanka? So that's where I get the adrenaline rush by somebody says, "No, Tell, you don't have any knowledge, you can't do it." I said, "Okay, I'm gonna." It's not that I want to make that person wrong, but it's really for my own self that I go and make it happen. And so that's what I've been doing, because that's what I learned in the filmmaking process, where I'm a logical person. I come from rational thinking. Being an entrepreneur, engineer, I go into a creative area, and I'm not a creative person. In the process, I was able to figure out and apply whatever I learned in other parts of the businesses, and still create a business model that will work not only for the creatives, but also a business person like myself. And so I enjoy that journey, Priyanka. That's what I really got out of it. So otherwise, I wouldn't be on the fourth movie, right? I would have closed down the shop with the very first movie. So things are working well.
That's good for you. So 4 movie productions and still going strong.
Yes.
As a successful entrepreneur, what are 3 traits that you would recommend to our audiences, which will be helpful irrespective of whichever discipline of life you are in?
Yeah, I think the key thing is mindset. I would put the mindset on top of everything, because entrepreneurial journey is something that is a hard. It's not an easy journey. So you got to have the mindset. And second, you got to have. I mean, passion. People keep saying that. I would say passion along with intensity is required. And the last thing is purpose. Ask the question: why are you doing this, and what is driving you? I think I look at those 3 elements, and I start with the mindset, and the second thing, passion with intensity, and then purpose. And I think those 3 elements put together would answer any question regardless of whatever venture you are in. So that's what I apply, and that's what I look at, and that's what I would recommend.
That's very good advice, Tel. Now, you're a person who mingles with a lot of celebrities. So tell us, how is a day in the life of Tel?
Well, I mean, what I know is that whether you are a celeb, whether you are a person, doing a job, some at corporation, doesn't matter. I believe, in fact, I draw all my strength and inspiration from every conversation I have, including, one I have with you, Priyanka. So my life experience is really collection of that. So just because somebody is a celebrity doesn't mean that they have the silver magic wand with them, or they can provide a silver bullet to any solution. So the answer is no. It is just that collection of those interactions I utilize. And more than me searching YouTube or any other material, it's really the collection of such interactions and experiences really made what I am today, more than what I learned in the school. And I owe that to all the people that I interacted over the years, and I continue to
That,
interact. Yeah.
that's very humble of you, Tel. As you mentioned rightly, you can learn from every person that you run into your life. It doesn't have to be a person of a certain status or rank.
Yes.
And I'm so glad you've kept your foot grounded.
Yes, I continue to keep it that way until I go to the ground.
Well, I'm quite sure you have more to accomplish in the near future.
Yes.
So when you enter into any field, be it with Kyyba Films, how do you set your milestones to achieve the best? Be the person who is reckoned with in that field. How do you motivate yourself and set those goals in each of these different domains?
Yeah. So I asked a very basic question. So even though I also did MBA, EMBA with you, MBA there, I don't apply a lot of those things. In fact, I apply very practical pointers. The first question I ask myself, what is the worst thing that can happen to me? Right? I start with that. Okay. So I know I can at least take 20 or 25% of the risk, in terms of financing, in terms of everything that I have, meaning I have $100 and I'm ready to part away $25. No matter what happens, I still have $75 that I can utilize to run my life, support other businesses. And I absolutely make sure in my mind, even if I don't get those $25 back, Priyanka, I would be able to run my life without, going to the streets. Once that question is answered with clarity, then I look at, okay, what is that I can add that others don't have? What is my USP? Is it, and then, my strength, whether it is business, whether it is money, whether it is strategy, whether it is connection, whether it is a North American strategy, whether it is a global strategy. And I also look at what the market is not doing, what the market needs. So I kind of look at all that and come up with my own recipe, if you will. And then I believe in it, I pursue it. And then no matter what, I keep pushing it. And people, even if people say, oh, yeah, we tried this, even the experts say it won't work. But I continue to believe in myself, and I take it to the finish line, because if I already answered the question, right? What is the worst thing that will happen? I lose $25. So what? So I think that tenacity is what keeps me going in that direction.
That's very cool, Tel. As you see in the society, right? A lot of people of Indian heritage, they're trying to make a mark in the society.
Yes.
Be it Senator Kamala Harris, who unfortunately had to drop off the
Yes.
Democratic presidential race. But I'm looking at successful people like you and her. Though you have a lot of interest to bring change to the society, but is it the heritage that really could be a barrier for people like you to create more change in the society?
I mean, compared to other Indian Americans, I don't see myself, because I am venturing into areas that are typical a person of Asian heritage will be hesitant to do, right? So, the traditional thing is that, okay, you got to be a physician, you got to be an engineer, you got to be an attorney. So for me to branch out in all that, which means that I'm already breaking those barriers. But for the general public, yeah, that holds them down. That says, oh, this is not meant for us. This is for mainstream. So I am saying that this is the land of the dreams. This is the land of freedom. So therefore, I'm going to pursue to the fullest extent what this country would allow me to do, regardless of my heritage. That's why I go ahead and pursue innovation. That's why I go ahead and pursue Kyyba Films. And also, I'm also working on the empowerment of the city of Flint. So I have a foundation called Hope for Flint Foundation. I have a magazine to really turn around the cities like Flint. To me, that is not to me, that is not a typical person of Asian heritage would do, right? So in that regard, I want to set as an example that we can also contribute instead of holding us down. I think we should look at what all we can do with the strength, and then I think we don't become a statistic. We become of not doing it, but we become a trailblazer doing just that. Is what I believe.
That's impressive. So, what advice would you have for Kamala Harris? I know you've met her prior to her running the campaign, but now that things have changed, as a person of Indian heritage, what would you say?
Well, she has taken the first step, and who knows? She may be the running mate of the if for the president. That is still a possibility. So I would not rule her out. And then she's still very young in the political arena, so she has a lot of years ahead of her, and so she can tweak her strategy. And she's already a U.S. senator, and I think she still have a shot at the presidential opportunity. So I think I wouldn't be surprised either this time around as a VP or as a president at the next election cycles to follow. So she still very much has an opportunity, to pursue.
That's great.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, Tel. So, you've had, I'm quite sure, several highs and lows as part of your entrepreneurial journey. Was there a low moment in your life where you really had to reevaluate your situation, your life, and how did you overcome that situation?
Well, I think I would say it happened around 2010. Me being in Detroit and Michigan, obviously the city of Detroit itself went through bankruptcy, and one of our major customer, with about 70% of concentration of our business, went through bankruptcy. So I went into a very low moment. It's just like almost like a tsunami hitting you from all fronts. Bank is coming after me, and the customers got into bankruptcy. And so I got into a real financial crisis where a lien was placed on my home. All kinds of things happened. It's almost close to my own bankruptcy, if you will. Then I thought to myself, what is the worst thing that happened? I came here without anything, and I've survived. And I think now that after so many years, I still have a lot of connections. I still have a lot of energy. I still have a lot of confidence. I think this low should not be the last low. And so with that, I started focusing on what else I should be doing differently. And then obviously the city came out of the bankruptcy. The customer came out of the bankruptcy. I myself got out of the crisis. But it taught me so much in life that I'll never forget. And so then I realized it is a long journey. In that journey, there will be a lot of ups and downs, much like life. What goes up has to come down, and what goes down has to come up. That's really the natural rhythm of life, and it's also the natural rhythm of business. And I think that crisis taught me that lesson. So that is why I continue to remain grounded, because of that understanding that I may be high today, but doesn't mean I'll be high forever, because nobody has been high forever. There is always ups and downs, and I think once you understand that, you will look at things in a very different way, and I think that was the biggest lesson I learned in the process, and I used my positivity and confidence and happiness to overcome that crisis at that moment of time.
That's a beautiful way of looking at it, Del. And it's the circle of life, right? And
It really is.
I'm quite sure your willpower has really made you who you are today.
That's right. So it's not just what I say in the quote, right, Priyanka? So I also practice in real life. So
Right. Very true. So you've served on the leadership of TIE, the Indus Entrepreneurs Detroit chapter.
Yes.
Tell us about your work with TIE and how that's really helped you shape yourself as a person and a leader.
Yes. So what I did, obviously I served as the president for more than 4 or even 6 years. So what I did was I took an organization that was, predominantly with membership of Indian heritage, and I took them into a mainstream organization in Detroit. In other words, that uh, uh, by holding tycons of, I think back in the days, the way we did the tycon, which is the largest entrepreneurial conference, people started benchmarking not only the mainstream organizations in Detroit that promote entrepreneurship, but also chapters across the country. And so in that way, I think I have really spearheaded entrepreneurship and really, whether it is young entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs, I planted the seed within them. So because I believed in this mission, and I also wanted to give back, and because of me being in Detroit, Michigan for the last 30 years, I truly want to give back because how much money can you keep, and even if you have, what are you going to do with that money, right, Priyanka? So rather than me saying give me, give me, give me, so I said this is an opportunity to inspire other people. And so I think I have spent a considerable amount of time in championing entrepreneurship in Michigan, and more importantly for Detroit as a whole. I was able to bring in the Silicon Valley culture and the Silicon Valley elements into the entrepreneurship here, because we in the Midwest, we are still risk averse, and we are not that much risk taking compared to what we have in the Silicon Valley. Although the cars were invented here and all that, but somehow the Midwest or Detroit lost its mojo. I think now it has come back. So I was very instrumental in bringing those elements into the Detroit and Michigan's ecosystem.
Well, glad that Michigan has you, who's helping create an impact in the society. And how do you really manage time? Tell you do a lot of interesting work, and tell us about time management in your life.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I try to keep myself very active and energized. And I don't really focus on the time, Priyanka. I focus on energy. Because even if I give you a lot of time, if you don't have the energy, the time is of no value to you. So I stopped focusing on time long time ago. Instead, I focus on my energy. Okay, how do I keep my physical energy high at all times? How do I keep my mental, spiritual, and wellness? So how do I eat right so that I don't feel the weight of eating food? So I try to stay light, and then I think combination of that gives me the energy. Then I use my energy, so that way I can knock out more things as opposed to the time. And then in terms of time, from that aspect, what I try to do, I don't focus on things. I don't take on things that has no value to my life. I filter them out. I don't have time for all negativity into my head. So because of which I only focus on few things that matters to me. Anything that does not matter or doesn't have a purpose, I don't even waste my time. I rarely watch TV. And so those are the things that I do to keep me going.
I like the purpose driven approach, and that's very essential given we have multiple ways in which our time and energy can just vanish.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like the fact that you have a very different perspective on it.
Yes.
So, what's your vision going forward, Tel? What's next for 2020 for you?
2020 is that right, because now I'm involved in many different initiatives. I'm asking the question, which initiative where I can make a huge impact, and what would that look like? And where is that I'm not effective? And so I'm looking at, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to look at and then take few things off my plate and really focus on where I have the unique strength, I have the unique opportunity where I can make a huge impact. So in other words, I'm going to go after the big audacious goal, and really try to make it happen, as opposed to chasing a whole bunch of stuff which may not make any impact at all. So that's what I'm planning for 2020.
That's great. And how can we be of help to you?
Well, you can be of help. I mean, obviously, these messages go to a lot of people, and all of them can obviously, one of them would listen. whatever work that I do, as long as it goes to people and people can benefit, I think that is the biggest help. I'm at a point in life, I'm not looking for more money. I'm looking to leave a legacy behind where my focus is mainly on not what I have done while I'm here, while I'm alive. Mine is more about what I have given so people can utilize even after I'm gone, so that your lifespan increases in that way in terms of impact and purpose.
So, creating a long lasting legacy, Tel, is your purpose.
Yes.
Which is very impressive. For us, the Curryup Startup platform is a great way to broadcast the work that you do, as simple as feeling more energized about achieving more things in life.
Sure, absolutely.
So we have a fun rapid fire round for you, Tel. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, I'm always ready. I'm born ready, Priyanka.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that, Tel. So tell us the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the following. Happiness.
Doing the things I enjoy the most.
Role model.
Steve Jobs.
Favorite book.
Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt.
What is your native language and one word to describe yourself in it?
Tamil, beautiful.
Do you have the Tamil word for that?
Beautiful, alagu.
Thank you. Thank you, Tel. It was such an amazing experience to learn from you, and thanks for being a sport, doing the fun rapid fire round as well. Any parting thoughts to our listeners?
Life is so short. I think one has to live their own life and not worried about what XYZ thinks of it, because they don't matter in the end. So keep pursuing and enjoy life and be happy, because that is really the purpose of life.
You're such an inspiration, Tel, and I'm so glad we had a chance to connect and learn from your wisdom. And I definitely feel a lot energized speaking with a like-minded person like you. So thank you, Tel.
Thank you. And you're most welcome, Priyanka.
Thank you. And until another episode with another interesting guest, this is your host, Priyanka, signing off from your Curryup Startup podcast.